And joining me now is Russel Shalev, researcher at the Kohelet Policy Forum. Russel, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
I want to ask you, we're seeing protests across the country. People from across society are genuinely fearful that Israeli democracy is slipping away, and those concerns seem, to them at least, falling to deaf ears. Shouldn't the government heed to those concerns and halt the reform, at least for now, until they find a middle ground?
So, I mean, I think that there's now a lot of apocalyptic rhetoric being thrown around, right? The term regime change, for example. But the truth is that every aspect of this reform is a response to unilateral regime changes that the court made over the past 3 decades. So currently, Israeli citizens, right, we are living in a constitutional design that we did not democratically choose. So, right, so the question is, who is the one who is authorized to design Israel's constitutional structure? Right, whether it be the power to strike down laws, which is a court's invention, whether it be the binding counsel of the Attorney General, a court invention, the use of reasonableness in its current form, a court invention. So, and the truth is that every aspect of this reform is simply bringing Israel more into line with democratic norms around the world. The current situation is what is unique.
I want to ask you, there is a consensus that Israel's judicial system is flawed, and specifically the way that Supreme Court justices are elected. But is this reform, the way it is presented now, really the solution? Because will minority groups that feel unrepresented by the court see themselves reflected in those judges?
So, right, currently, right, as you said, the selection process is completely unique around the world. Today, right, the judges have a veto over the appointment of new judges, which essentially prevents bold thinkers, original thinkers from people who have different jurisprudential philosophies from being appointed as judges. And the truth is that that appointment by elected officials is the norm around the world. So again, the current situation is the aberrant situation.
It is the norm. You're right, but within this change, will we actually see those minority groups that are not represented in the Supreme Court? Will we actually see them represented with this new forum?
So part of the new proposal that's being discussed requires all the representatives from the coalition, the coalition representatives on the selection committee, and the opposition representatives to be from different parties. So the way it would work, the first 2 judges, right, would be appointed with the coalition majority, right? Even if you look at today's coalition, which is supposedly a very homogeneous coalition, right? But you have, right, the Speaker of the Knesset is an openly gay man in a coalition, right, with the ultra-Orthodox, and then from the 3rd judge on, you would have to have the approval of a representative from the coalition, and from the 4th judge on, you would have to have the approval of one of the judges. So this would also create more representation, more diversity within the court.
Amidst this judicial overhaul, we all have seen a major diplomatic fallout over inflammatory rhetoric from certain members of the coalition, namely Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich. Are you concerned at all that everything that Israel has built, its strong ties with the United States, the Abraham Accords, are they in jeopardy?
First of all, I don't see any connection between whatever other things that coalition members may say and judicial reform. Right. The truth is, right, the United States is one of the greatest representatives of right, the government for the people, by the people, of the people. And how could the United States expect anything less of Israel's citizens? Currently, we live in a situation where, as citizens, our right to choose our elected officials, to promote policies that we want, even to choose our very constitutional structure, is severely limited by a court which unilaterally is now besides the Supreme Court, the Supreme Legislator, the Supreme Constitutional Framer, and the Supreme Government.
Russel Shalev, thank you very much for joining us today with your insight.